Before I close my welcome speech, I would like to welcome our Saxena to give his presentation. I know him personally since long. He's the mentor of many business owner. He's a person who has given a lot of the inspirations, and he's a person who has given a lot of contribution to the economy of many companies. So, welcome to Amar Saxena.
Standard, Madam Adhikari, and thank you, Dr. Asif, for the wonderful welcome. You have, as always, gone overboard. I'm hardly anybody's mentor. Anyway, I'm not going to take too long. I'm just going to quickly talk you through. I'm not going to show any slides, because if I show slides, your attention will be focused there and rather than on what I'm saying. I'm going to highlight some of the risks that are inherent in running a business, in any business, in any country of the world. And I'm also going to touch upon a few factors that are particular to the UAE. This is what I'm about to tell you. It will be a mixture of what you already know, perhaps in some greater depth, and some of the things that I have learned in my professional capacity as a lawyer and as a consultant, and from experience of other businesses. Let me start with a story. Suppose you take a newborn pup whose eyes are closed and nurture it till its eyes open. You light a fire, you push the puppy towards it. The moment its eyes open, the puppy will stop. It will not go there. That is instinctive knowledge. It knows instinctively that it must not go next to the fire. On the other hand, take a newborn baby. When the baby starts crawling about, light a little fire or a candle. The baby will be excited with the flame. It will touch it, get burnt, but will never touch it again. It has learned a lesson. Human beings do not have intuitive knowledge. Every bit of knowledge that human beings have gained has come from trial and error. So failure is not something that we must stay away from. One must learn from failures. I am from India, and all of you wonderful people are from Nepal. In our culture, failure is looked down upon. Whereas in the West, failure is merely a stepping stone to the next higher step. There are numerous tales of businesses that went bankrupt. Yet, they went ahead and reinvented themselves and built bigger and stronger businesses. So please learn from your failures, because everybody will fail in something or the other. We have all failed. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We must learn lessons from it. There is a general aversion of people in uninsurable risk. Uninsurable risks are risks which we do not and cannot control. In the real world, as relates to business, the uninsurable risks are taxation, bankruptcy law, legislation, change in legislation. These are uninsurable risks. You can't insure them. This is one of the factors that causes people to be averse from risk-taking. You're all business people. You have all come here to do business. In other words, to take a risk. A risk does not mean trying to jump off the Burj Khalifa without a parachute. The risk means you try to jump off a high point with a parachute that has a probable chance of opening, based on the experiences of the past. Similarly, in a business, when you enter into a new environment, you must understand the basic premise first of all. The basic premise of any new country that you enter is that you must understand that the laws of that country, the business system, the environment, the social environment are not the same as your home country. This is very important, because I have had numerous people telling me, but in my country it was like this. I always ask them, where are you sitting right now? They say in Dubai. I said, then why should the laws of your country apply here? They have no answer. So please inform yourself of the legal, financial, business, social and legislative environment of the UAE. Not only must you inform yourself, you must keep your knowledge updated at all times, because laws change and they change frequently. You have no reason to be afraid. Please go to the Ministry of Justice or go to the Dubai courts, ask them about the most recent legislation and they will tell you. There's nothing to fear. There are some people who say, why should I do this? Others say, why shouldn't I do this? If we were all like the people who said, no, I'm not going to take a risk, the Americas would not have been discovered. That the world is round would never have been discovered. Vasco da Gama would have landed into India. Magellan would have landed into the Philippines. Which opened new geographies, new opportunities, Canada, Latin America, China, Japan. All these countries are opened up as a result of exploration from people who lived in Europe, who had no need to go out. But there was the thirst for knowledge. Secondly, they were searching for business opportunities. Vasco da Gama landed in India for the spice trade, because the Venetians had a control of it. The Portuguese brought it. Similarly, the English went to China for tea, and of course selling opium. But they went for business opportunities, they did business both sides of the fence. This is by way of general introduction as to the opportunities that arise as a result of risk-taking. Basically, there are many kinds of risk, but we will touch briefly on 6 types. There is the business risk, there is investment risk, there is financial risk, market risk, transaction risk, and counterparty risk. These are the risks which are important to us in a business environment like Dubai, or any business environment. I will briefly define what each kind of risk is. If you want these definitions, I will arrange for you to get copies of it, so you can understand the definition of each risk. A business risk is the possibility that a company will have lower than anticipated profits or experience a loss. Business risk is influenced by various factors, including sales volume, price per unit, input costs, competition, overall economic climate, and government regulation, to count a few. Therefore, when you enter into a business or have entered into a business, please consider each of these sub-risks of a business risk. Business risk is an umbrella under which all these risks fall. Sales per volume, sales and volume of sales. This is a trading environment. Dubai is a trading environment. You will probably import and export, or you will import and sell. So sales is important for you. Investment risk. Investment risk is defined as the probability, not possibility, the probability or likelihood of occurrence of loss relative to the expected return on any particular investment. So if I invest $100,000, what is the probability that I will lose it? This is something that you need to quantify by taking into consideration various factors. You have to look at the opportunity that you are chasing. What is the competition like? What is the market like? What is the infrastructure you require to capitalize on the opportunity? Capital, offices, staff. These are your investments. Do you run a risk of loss? This is something you need to quantify yourself. Financial risk is a third kind of risk. It is an umbrella definition for multiple types of risk associated with financing, including financial transactions that include companies' loan in risk and default of loan. It also includes non-receivables from counterparties, right? Renegotiate contracting terms. They all have an impact on the financial stability and viability of a business. It is also used as a term to imply downside risk, meaning the uncertainty of a return and the potential for financial loss. That's a financial risk. Fourth is market risk. Market risk is a risk that the value of the investment will decrease due to change in market conditions. Volatility, that is rapid movements up and down, frequently refers to, it is referred to standard deviation. This is Black-Scholes model, but I will not go into that. Standard deviation of the changes in the value of a financial instrument within a specific time horizon. So $100,000 today is worth X. 18 months it will be Y. As compared to other investments of a similar type, have I done well or badly? The mean of the others who have done well is the standard. Your deviation will tell you your return. So the greater the deviation, the better you have performed. This is a little more detailed, but it will help you understand. Counterparty risk. We all enter into contracts. That's the nature of the business. You hire somebody, that's a contract. You buy something, that's a contract. You sell something, that's a contract. Counterparty is the risk to each party of a contract. So if you're signing a contract, you're at risk with that counterparty. If I sign a contract with this gentleman, he is my counterparty and I am his counterparty. What is the risk? Will he perform? Does he have the capacity to perform the contract that we have signed? Does he have the financial means to execute the contract in a timely manner? Because I may have entered into a contract with somebody else based on my contract with him. Therefore, counterparty risk is something that needs to be calibrated very carefully and assessed very carefully, particularly in a market like the UAE. Because you have people from all over the world who have come here. You do not have the time to check their background. You want to do business. So just be a little cautious. Don't go by emotion. Go by logic. At some point, emotion may come in later when you have established a relationship. You may do so on the basis of a handshake, fine. But a handshake doesn't stand up in court. And the courts over here are very, very clear in what they want from you as a litigant. The courts over here are to give you one thing and one thing alone. They are here to give you justice. They are not here to insulate you from your own silliness. If you make a mistake, they're not here to protect you from that. So please make sure that your document and your contracts, your correspondence are precise and to the point. If you want to mean what you say what you mean. Don't dress it up. I don't like your face, tell him straight. But be clear so everybody understands. Put briefly, counterparty is a risk to both parties and should be considered when evaluating a contract. In most financial contracts, i.e. when you take a loan from the bank, the counterparty risk is the risk of default, that the borrower may not pay you on time.